family home evening
with bad Mormons. Because that's what we are. We're bad.
I'm one of your hosts, Mandi.
I'm the other host, Charlotte.
And we have a third very special co-host with us. You guys have never heard from this guest before, but she is one of the ultimate bad girl party people in our inner circle.
Yes.
Our friend,
true.
our friend Andrea is here with us. Welcome to the podcast, Andrea.
Welcome, Andrea.
I like to think I'm the connoisseur of drug users amongst them.
You know, I'm going to say yes. If I have to refer to, like, Andrea, if I were to do this drug, what do you think about that? She'd be like, well, let me tell you, Charlotte.
Everything about not the housewife's drugs. I don't do the opiates. I don't do the heroin.
Right.
The good stuff.
The fun drugs.
Absolutely.
Do the housewives do heroin?
Well,
I think when the doctor won't give them the prescription for the opioid anymore, yes, then they move to heroin. Yeah, I think that's what, yeah, of course.
It's a natural progression.
Yeah.
so at a normal family home evening, you don't really do drugs or talk about drugs, but at the Bad Mormons family home evening, we welcome you into our inner circle of fun drug talk and a lot of alcohol.
Yes.
Perfect.
That is a fact.
I'm on Happy Edible now, so we're there.
Perfect. There you go.
Fantastic.
So cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Virtual cheers.
Hoy hoy.
Cheers.
Who wants to start by telling our listeners what they're drinking this evening?
I will go first. I am drinking a Nebbiolo from Columbia Valley from Swick Wines.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. You know, I've heard of Swick wines before.
It's organic, biodynamic, natural wine, and the winemaker is very dreamy. So I was talking to them a few
That's a
minutes ago.
plus.
I have never heard of that style of wine though. Like, is that the type of grape, or I'm still kind of going to wine school?
It is. It's a Sangiovese, but it's an Italian red wine.
Ah, okay, gotcha. I've dedicated my life. Well, the past year of my life. I've dedicated the last 12 months to going to internet wine school. So I'm just trying. I actually think about you a lot when I do it because I know you've actually studied wine for real.
Well, and you definitely have enough degenerate drinkers who have graduated to fancy drink, bougie drinkers in your life. So there's a lot of. I think there's a wealth of knowledge within the group. You know, we're not drinking Busch Light. We're not all drinking Busch Ice like we used to.
Yeah, we've graduated from Schmidt Ice. Thank you very much.
One of my favorite things was I was working at the co-op of all places, right? And I was in grocery, and everyone's like, Charlotte, you should apply for the wine steward position. And I'm like, okay, I didn't even think twice about it. Why would I do that? But they're like, no, you're an alcoholic. You should go apply to be the wine steward. And I'm like, okay. And then, of course, our friend Michael hired me to be that position. And I drank a lot at the wine tastings, and they decided I wasn't good for that position anymore. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. They should have known better. It's really on them.
Well, then they just moved you from that position into the meat department. So they just gave you
No, actually, I went from meat department to grocery. But I was night shift into wine steward into the mid. So
It's technical.
I was going to say, I stock groceries in the midday. That's what that means.
It's a food co-op, so they're not going to pay you well at all. So no matter what.
At the time, nobody was paying me better. At all. Even close. If anything, I was like, I get a 90-cent raise. Or no, sorry, I get a 10-cent raise every 900 hours? Yes, and thank you.
Yeah, I've totally sold out to the corporate world. I loved my job at the co-op, but I make a lot more money now. My job sucks and I hate it. Well, I don't hate everything about it, but I hate a lot of it. But I get paid a lot.
Yeah, but you started at your current job before the big corporate buyout.
Oh, yeah. Well before.
Yeah.
Well before. So it's
Yeah.
I don't think you're a corporate shill. You just are why would you leave? You know, like, to leave a job with, you know, retirement, all that shit set up. I mean, you just don't want to, at some point. You don't want to do it. So.
Yeah, that's a fact. So I'm drinking, just to get back, so we don't get too far off topic right off the bat. I'm drinking, surprisingly, and for the first time ever on the podcast, beer rather than wine.
Hillbilly.
It turns out I forgot how much I love beer. I drank a lot of beer when I was out in Hawaii. And one of my coworkers gave me this gift of like a crowler of beer from this local brewery. As well, it's kind of local. It's in Orange. But it's called Green Cheek Brewing. And this is a sour double IPA with strawberry, pineapple, and passion fruit. But it's not super fruity. I don't know. It's like, I tasted it and I was like, I forgot how much I love beer. And I'm back. I'm back on the beer train. Loving beer once again.
Does it air more on the sour side, or does it air more on the double IPA side?
Sour side.
Oh, it's not more on the sour side. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever had a blend of a sour.
Yeah, this is the first one for me, and I'm telling you, it's really good. You should come down here and see us, and we'll go check it out together.
I know. Where I'm at in Tacoma. Apparently, it's all a bunch of good breweries around here. I mean, I know one of them, but yeah, apparently, but. I don't know. Who am I gonna go out with? I'm gonna go sit at a brewery by myself. That's like a fate worse than death in my world.
True.
Girl, where are you at right now? I'm by myself at the brewery.
Is that wrong? Is that not what you're supposed to do?
Sounds lonely.
I'm by myself at a dirty, dingy bar that's smoky. Done. I mean, that's my comfort zone.
She's more of a Cap Hanson's girl.
I love me some Cap Hansons. I need an egg salad sandwich and a champagne any day of the week. I don't care. They went well together.
Stop. You can buy egg salad sandwich from Cap Hanson?
Yes, and it was delicious.
I would never eat that.
Oh my God. I would never even eat French fries from there.
Are you shitting me? They had great food. Fuck you guys. I lived up the street from Caps. I would go there all the time.
Maybe I was wrong.
You were wrong. You're wrong. You're racist and you're wrong.
Charlotte. What are you drinking?
Well, Charlotte, Mandy is the one that turned me on to going to, and now this is way back in the day, what's it called? The breakfast place you used to go to.
Oh,
Diamond Jim's?
Diamond Jim's.
No, out late night after the bars.
Horseshoe Cafe.
The Horseshoe. Fuck yeah, you go to the Horseshoe.
Right, it was $1. I remember it was $1.99, 2 eggs, 2 pieces of meat. I could still smoke inside. Thank you. And when the waitresses, they were all like, you know, older, 50s and 60s. They would come to your table, cigarette hanging out of their mouth. Like fucked up from the beaver all night long, and you go in there and chain smoke some more inside, and like eat, like we would be like drinking Diet Dr. Peppers and like chain smoking cigarettes over $1.99 breakfast.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Yeah, it's good. It was a good. My 20s were amazing.
I think your sister eats food from some questionable places. So,
but now I drink bougie ash wine. Did that come out?
Yeah. Bougie ass wine. Sure.
Bougie.
It just comes out like this now. I don't know, how do you say that?
JNSQ Sauvignon Blanc.
It's delicious. This is what I'm drinking, by the way.
Yeah, it's really we've sold it at my store for a long time, and I've never even thought about buying it because it's in a weird, like almost like a perfume bottle shaped
bottle.
I
Dream of Jeannie bottle.
And it's like almost $40.
New Zealand? Is it New Zealand?
I don't know. It doesn't say. Hold on, let me read the thing.
Yeah, it was like
French. It's French. It's France. There are people who live and listen to us
our
from French.
Most of our listeners are in the U.S., but the second higher listenership of this podcast is France. There's like 12 towns in France that listen to our podcast.
So I'm sorry. Like a typical fucking American, I butchered everything. I blame the booze mainly, but I'm also,
So, dear French listeners, your wine is fucking amazing.
It is fucking delicious.
It sure is good. It sure is good. It's real good.
So do we have anything to repent for the last podcast, or just life in general from the past time we've recorded?
Life in general, pretty much, yeah. I can't think of specifics.
Yeah, I don't think I really can't think of anything I need to repent for either, which is
I
unusual.
I know what I need to repent for. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm so fucking sorry.
You tell him that tomorrow on your anniversary.
Oh, it is our anniversary tomorrow.
Andrea, we're going to surprise you. You're going to have to just listen to the last week's, actually, technically this week's episode of the podcast.
All right, I'll listen to it when I'm done. Here.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I have nothing to repent for because the state of Washington State has not allowed me to get into any trouble at all. Normally, I have nothing to repent for. I mean, that's what I enjoy about life. I heard somebody say once, they said they weren't ever going to go back to church until they were done sinning. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much me. I mean, I'm not going to go to church anyways. But
that's
if you have
really good mantra.
Yeah, like I'm sinning. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying sinning. But no, there's not much sinning happening, unfortunately, in Tacoma, Washington.
You can go hang out with my friend Blakers.
Oh, I don't want to meet new people.
Besides, I could only just imagine how uncomfortable that would be for everybody. It'd be great for me to watch, like a fly on the wall, but...
Of course. See, but that's the thing. I couldn't trust your, friendship hookups, Charlotte, because you would, be like, you should go meet my friend so-and-so, and then I meet them, and I'm like, is this guy a serial killer? What's going on?
Okay, I love my friend Blake so much, but he comes off as a serial killer.
He really does. You nailed it, Andrea.
You fucking nailed it.
Right.
And he's not a serial killer. He's a really great guy. But if you just were to meet him, you'd be like, is he going to murder me later? Why is he talking about ween all the time?
Oh, God, he's one of those. I didn't know those guys were still around.
Oh, they're around.
They're totally around.
Oh, they're around.
I mean, when's the last time Ween put out an album? I don't even know, but...
I don't know, but his brothers bought him one of those, celebrity birthday shout-out things. And so the lead singer of Ween did this whole thing, Blake, I hung out with your brothers the other day, and, dude, we're worried about you. We're afraid of what you're going to do. You need to, get in a good space. And it was this whole thing.
That's pretty funny.
He goes into it, and then he goes, I'm just kidding. I've never fucking met your brothers before. But they did pay for me to tell you happy birthday, brother. And so he does, and it was fucking awesome.
I've looked at some of the people that you can get to, do that for you, the celebrities. I'm like, my favorite, Al Roker. Or Ice Cube, and I was like, wait a second, Ice Cube,
dude,
is he down on his luck? What the fuck is going on? Why you can get a shout out from Ice Cube?
Yeah. Dude, my boss actually bought it was my boss and his sisters bought the Ice Cube one for one of their cousins or something like that, and so he showed me the video. It was awkward. I'm not gonna lie. It was he was mispronouncing everybody's names. You could tell he was just looking at his watch almost half the time I can't believe I'm fucking reduced to doing this.
This man made Friday and another, he's made, he has money. I don't think that he's hurting for...
I was thinking of Ice-T. Makes sense. Ice Cube is above that.
Yeah.
Ice Cube. But, yeah, but I had a friend who got one from, Tiger King, the lady.
Oh, no. Carol Baskin. That bitch, Carol Baskin.
That fucking bitch.
My friend of mine, her husband bought it for her birthday. He loved it. She loved it. She reposted it on Instagram. She was like,
this is ruining it for me. Carol Baskin and the lead singer of Ween are completely different. They are different calibers of celebrity, and I'm dying inside.
I can't Tiger King. That was the beginning of the pandemic. When we didn't think this thing was going to be more than a couple of months, and we were talking about Tiger King, I'm like, God, that was so long ago. Yeah. Not that long ago at all. And she did murder. She did murder her husband, for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows it.
She definitely
Oh my
murdered
God,
us.
can you guys pay for Joel McHale to send me a birthday?
Joel McHale would be great.
That would be perfect.
That'd
He's
be a good
just less of a celebrity enough to do it.
You hear that, Joel McHale?
Listen, Joel, I don't mean it like that. I love you. And just because all of your shows have been canceled except for Card Sharks doesn't mean that you're less of a celebrity. I love you.
We know Joel McHale listens to the podcast, so we're giving him some direct love so that maybe he'll feel compelled to give us some direct love back, you know?
You know what also would be a good one? It's like Gary Busey.
Oh my God, I'd actually love that too.
Utah! Give it to him!
See, he had like a motorcycle accident. Hasn't been quite right.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like,
that's true.
I feel like that's a little bit of picking on people.
The clients.
The clients. You don't want to pick. You don't want to pick on the clients.
Yeah, we don't use the R word anymore. Within our family dynamic, we kind of grew up using the R word, calling people, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we don't like to say it anymore, so we came up with a new word to replace the R word. We call them clients.
Now, that's not to say that Gary Busey's a client.
I have to say that I did not grow up with that word, but I took it on later on in life.
Things were different in the 90s.
Yeah.
Things went wild.
Yeah,
wild.
Calling people gay had a totally, different meaning.
Listen, I had completely taken "that's so gay" out of my vocabulary for the longest time.
It's gotten to the place now that like there's a huge separation between like old school like older gays, not even like old gays, like our parents' age. I'm talking about people who are gay or lesbian our age. And the like younger generation, like I only know that like I talking to some of my friends who are either gay or they're a lesbian who are my age. There's like stuff that goes on like with the newer generation where it's like you and I was like you're turning into an old person. My friend was like these young lesbians.
Well, because that was my problem. Like I remember.
I said to her, I go, she's like 45. I was like, you're sounding like an old, first of all, you sound like your mother and you sound like an old person. And like, yes, the movement evolves, even if you don't.
I don't. So I'm confused as to where I land because it was, we said gay probably as a more derogatory thing. Like we never used like the F word or anything like that, but it was like, oh, that's so gay. Right.
No,
and then
like,
I remember
dropping the F word is like dropping the N word.
That's my sentiments exactly.
I think things just evolve,
Right.
Like they just evolve. It's hard to keep up with all of it.
No, it's true. And I just don't want to offend anybody, and I don't.
Or like,
I'm not trying to be trendy. I'm not trying to like whatever, but
like,
when it
and
starts,
also, like learning people's pronouns. That's
right.
like something I had to
That's
learn.
true.
That wasn't something that I necessarily. I mean, now I think about certain friends. I'm like, oh yeah, you would be. You wouldn't. People have called you him, or he, but you would really be. You would probably prefer being called they or them.
Right.
So it's hard.
Do you guys, since we're kind of on the topic, do you guys want to hear a funny story about grandma, mom's mom, grandma?
Oh, yeah.
Just a real short one. So she came to visit me in San Francisco. Her and mom came to San Francisco, and I was living with Lisa, and we had our apartment on Church Street, which is right between the Castro and the Mission. And if you don't know, the Castro district in San Francisco is like the famously gay district. And my grandma's like, I don't know, 80 something at the time, super old. And she keeps asking me, she's like, isn't there a place in San Francisco where the lesbians hang out? And I was like, that's a weird question. I was like, yeah, it's the Castro, it's our neighborhood right over here. We can walk there. And she's like, okay. And then, a couple hours passed by and then she asked me something again about the lesbians. And I was like, yeah, the lesbians, it's a thing, the Castro or whatever. And like by the fourth time she started asking me about the lesbians, I was like, oh my God. My grandma's a lesbian. Like she's
totally right.
She's just, she's asking me just enough questions, and like I was convinced that my grandma was a lesbian, and so I was starting to kind of try to feel her out. Like, what kind of questions is she gonna ask? Like, is this some kind of late in life?
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, some kind of late in life, not revelation, but like confession, or whatever. Because my grandmother was Mormon. a hardcore Mormon. It turns out, after sort of like asking some pointed questions to my grandmother, it turns out she was just really, really into the Ellen show. And so she wanted to know everything she could about lesbians because Ellen was a lesbian.
I mean, well, isn't that the thing? Like, some of the most conservative people I know are huge Ellen fans.
Yeah.
Dude.
Crazy.
I think it's a huge conservative. Like, there's a lot of conservative people. I mean, I think it's great, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's totally fucking great. What she's kind of like, she kind of made a bridge, and people are slowly starting to swim across it. Well, walk across it, run across it.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
I felt bad for Ellen when all those things were coming out about her and her show and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I saw a little bit about that.
Hard to know how much of that is true.
Well, there is so much that goes into, like, the production of a show, and so many different, you know, this person manages this aspect of it. There's probably 15 different managers. Somebody's doing this, somebody's doing that.
I don't know what an executive producer does. You know what I mean? It's really, yeah.
Well, the executive producer usually just pays.
Would that have happened to her if she wasn't a woman? I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, you guys, so we've already been talking for 22 minutes, so I think we should hear a word from our sponsors. Oh. I do want to just make one little comment before we get into that. I just want to remind you guys that there are only 36 days, as of today, 36 more days that we have to deal with Trump being the president of the United States. So let's give ourselves a little cheers to that and have a word from our sponsors.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Just in time for the 2020 holiday season, the Family Home Evening with Bad Mormon's Genius Team brings you the greatest collection of Christmas songs ever assembled. You'll hear digitally remastered classics like
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? Here I am, wet and glistening. A beautiful sight, we're horny tonight, fucking in a winter wonderland. Gone away are your blue balls, since you shaved, they're like new balls. They clang a love song as we get it on, fucking in a winter wonderland.
And we've added some of the old standards your family has grown to love. And who could forget heartwarming songs like
Oh, LSD, wow, dude, is that a dragon? Let's look at all the pretty lights and freeze our ass, staying out all night. Oh, LSD, life's better when you're tripping.
For the first time ever, Family Home Evening with Bad Mormons brings you all these great songs together in one magnificent album.
Here come the moles, there go the moles. Why are there oh so many moles? Come gather near, quick hide the beer. Tell them you're gay, they'll go away. We know their secrets to a point, but which holes do they anoint? Green jello moles, cover your holes. It's Christmas Day, the Mormon way. They will try to convert you. Here is what you have to do. Commit a crime, make it big time. Land behind bars, make place for cars. Grand larceny, then you're home free. Stay in the joint, there they don't annoy
Family Home Evening with Bad Mormons brings you Paris, the Sex Tape Starlet, the most offensive recording of all time, never before available until now, with good reason.
Paris, the sex tape starlet, had a cunt just like a hinge. If you knock on her forehead, she opens up and says, come in. All of the girls just wonder how the glamour girl gets paid. We saw one night in Paris. Careful, girl, or you'll catch AIDS. She makes us all want to heave. Guys just have to say, Paris with your legs so wide, what crawled up and died inside? She'll give you gonorrhea, syphilis, and herpes too. So if you grind on Paris, bet you'll get infected too.
All this and more can be yours for just 3 monthly payments of $399.99. Get into the holiday spirit this season with Family Home Evening with Bad Mormons holiday album. Now that's what I call heathens. From our family to yours. And we're back.
Fantastic.
That was a good one.
Always is.
I'm feeling so festive. I'm going to run out and buy 3 copies.
Of?
Hopefully the commercial that we just heard is the one that I think we're going to put in there.
Oh, perfect. Well, see, the thing about it is I don't know what we just listened to.
Don't worry, you're about to find out.
I can't wait till Monday.
All right, let's tell some stories, people.
All right, perfect.
All right, let's do it.
So, Andrea, you and I have a shit ton of podcast-worthy stories together over the last, how many years?
Well, let's see. I would say we met in either, I wasn't 21 yet.
We should actually tell that story. That's a fucking funny story.
Well, we met. So I had just moved back from New York City with my tail between my legs because I couldn't handle it. Because if you come from a very small, shitty town like I come from, you shouldn't then try to by yourself jump over to New York City. So I came back from New York City. I took a train across country because pretty much my mom was like, "You got yourself out there. You get yourself back." So,
wow.
How dare you?
Back then, this was before you could buy a plane ticket on the internet. You had to dial up. You had to call somebody to get a plane ticket. So and it was cheaper to take Amtrak. So, and when you get to Bismarck, North Dakota, you really meet some interesting people there in the middle. I wasn't at all surprised that those motherfuckers voted for Trump. Those are some crazy ass, 20-something years ago, those people were fucking insane. So then I moved and I got a job at the food co-op because they were advertised in the paper or something. I don't know. Anyways.
That's how I got my job there too.
Yeah, I think I started out a good $4 an hour. $5 an hour. I don't know what I made. But they put me on AM. They put me on AM deli. That was a terrible hour for me. I don't do well at that early in the morning. I was always hungover, drunk because I was at your house because you were being a terrible influence on me. But, but we met because I think I was going to a college party in Seattle. And my sister listens to this. So if I'm wrong on the details of this party, she can call in. Call in next time. And,
we have a dedicated line standing by.
But anyways, I was going to, we were up in the break room. We had never spoken to each other.
No.
And we were sitting in the break room and I was talking about how I was going to go to Seattle. And you're like, I want to go visit my boyfriend in Seattle. Can I get a ride? And I was like, sure. It was great. But we didn't know each other at all.
Yeah.
And we rode up together. And then, so the first, whatever Bellingham to Marysville or Mount Vernon is, wherever we pulled off at.
I think it was Marysville.
Okay, so that's a good half an hour. Bellingham to Marysville, that entire ride, for that half hour, 45 minutes, we didn't say one fucking word to each other. the entire time. And I was like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah,
and,
it was awkward.
And then we pulled over into like a taco. I think it must have been a taco time because that's always where I go to. But a taco time to drive some fast food. And these guys rolled up next to us in a car. It was like 3 dudes. And they were all dressed. I will say this term now. I didn't know it then. But I would say they were all dressed like Chads.
Yes, total Chads.
Total Chads.
Sweater vests.
Ickers.
So for your listeners in France, a Chad, he maybe wears a lot of dock sliders, sweater vests, like collared shirts.
Argyle.
Like this frat guy looks a little dumpy and a little douchey, and they were like, they were doing that. Like it was almost like they rolled up and were like, "Hey, ladies," and pointed, like giving us the finger point.
Yeah.
Like, point over at us, and you and I looked at each other and busted out laughing. So hard.
Oh,
And
that
that was
sounds
it.
really hot.
And then like 2 motormouth Mabels all the way to Seattle. We
Yeah.
ended up just talking the whole time. And then I dropped you at your boyfriend's house, who turned out to be kind of a loser.
No, he's fine. We've made up since then.
Oh.
But I said, you didn't let me finish. He turned out to be a bit of a loser, but then he got a little bit better. But he did have a good loser. He had a few years there, a little loserish. That's
Yeah.
all right.
That was funny. That whole
I had a few years of being an alcoholic, so it's all right. It's all right.
it's crazy how one car full of Chads like trying to hit on us was the thing that took it from awkward to like best friends, and we've kind of been sort of like best friends ever since.
One of my longest relationships. For sure. For sure.
So if
From that moment.
you Chads are listening, thank you. Thank you for the gift of.
And I will say, I don't know where they're at today.
Probably still in Marysville.
One's probably dead. So definitely, they're all fat, but in a terrible way, and they're terrible husbands, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But, for sure.
Insurance salesman.
There you go.
Car dealership.
They're definitely are in the Republican Party, and they all have MAGA hats.
Oh, no.
All right, so I think we're going to have probably 47 episodes of the podcast dedicated to the stories that we have between the two of us. But I think we've decided on telling one story in particular that was, I don't know, there's so many words that are coming to my mind. Horrifying, fun, unbelievable, scarred for life. Maybe is another way to talk about this party.
Yeah.
Could be. I blocked it out of my mind, kind of. But then when you reminded me of it, when were pre-production talking about this, I was like, oh yeah, that was awful.
Yeah. So I don't remember all the details of it, but I remember. So we went to our friend Jim's house, right?
Yeah, but I think you have to actually go back. That you and we started going to this and kickball event.
Oh yes.
We won't keep into that, but I will say that from there, we know a lot of really crazy people that we probably wouldn't normally have hung out with, but we became friends because of a camping trip. You're in the woods, we bonded. But we met this guy, really nice guy, and we used to call him Robert Downey Jr. Like, looks like
I think
Robert
we're
Downey.
obsessed with Robert Downey Jr.
No, seriously, this guy really did look like Robert Downey Jr.
And I will say this to your listeners, and I'm sure they all probably have heard of this. This party that we went to is put on by people who are old school Burning Man people. Like, if they hadn't been going to Burning Man since the beginning of Burning Man, they've been going to Burning Man since nearly the beginning. So these techno music, old school Burning Man artists, flamboyant people, but fine. And they threw a great party. Their parties always had really good drugs, so of course you're going to go because you always are going to have, like the techno music sucks.
Yeah.
But if you take a couple hits of Molly, the techno music's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, as Charlotte can attest to, as we told in one of our previous episodes.
Wait, I wasn't listening. I was watching you pour my wine into your beer cup. No, you're more than welcome to have it. I'm judging you because you're mixing the two. And
No, I don't want it. It's okay. I don't want any. I'm good.
Listen, Anderson.
So the details of this party was.
I was making fun of you.
So I think it was not long. He usually does this party not long after. And we'll just call Robert Downey Jr. Our DJ.
Our DJ.
I'm literally, for your listeners, close your eyes, think of a younger Robert Downey Jr., maybe less than 0, maybe slightly older, maybe Ally McBeal, maybe a good Ally McBeal, Robert Downey Jr., like, definitely still on cocaine, definitely.
Perfect, yes.
Probably did go to jail, out of jail, saying he's sober, not really sober. That's Robert Downey Jr. Whatever he really looked good those years. So, I mean, that's the year that I would say he was. So, Robert, our DJ, owned this dock in Pacifica, California.
Yeah, just south of San Francisco.
Just south of San Francisco. He's definitely, with all the property he owns, definitely a millionaire, but he basically owns a dock, and a huge dock, and it's pretty cool. And he would have this party not long after kickball, but that's how I got invited to it. And I do remember we were going out there, and Mandi goes, I don't feel good, so I'm not drinking. And I said, fine, but so you can be responsible for the rest of us. Because she was like,
100%.
I'm not going to drink. I'm not feeling good. I remember you weren't feeling good. Or you didn't want to drink, or I don't know what it was, but you weren't drinking for some reason. I think you were maybe a little bit sick, and I think that you were sick. But then I think I probably told you that this bump of cocaine and bump of Molly would make you feel better. And people continually listen to me when I tell them that, and I don't know, they just keep doing that. And I think you were like, that bump of Molly will make me feel like I'm not dying of
Sure, Dr. Andrea.
Listen, take it. I'm sorry. You're going to feel better. You're going to have a lot more fun. Because you were like, I think you weren't having fun. And then I'm pretty sure, I'm going to say that I do know that you're an adult, but I'm pretty sure I shoved that stuff up your nose. That I did do that. Because I have been known to dose people before, and maybe we'll get to that story after this one.
Well, let me just tell you, that party went from 0 to hero real quick.
Is that what I need? Do I need some Molly?
And cocaine together.
Oh, okay. I can make that happen.
And then that house trance music sounded really good.
Right.
And,
that annoying, repetitious music all of a sudden sounded great.
But you have to imagine. So you're on the Pacific Coast. It's nighttime. He calls it a full moon party, of course.
That's right. Full moon party.
It's a full moon party on the dock. So you're like, it is actually kind of amazing. Like, this dock, it's pretty expansive, and has an apartment to it, has a hot tub on it, and you could definitely fit 150 people on that dock. No problem. And it's right on the most gorgeous part of the Pacific Coast, and it was a full moon, so it's lighting everything up, and everybody's fucked up, half naked, fucked up on drugs, and there's DJs playing, and that's what's part. So I was once Mandi force fed her drugs, and she got then we started to shake it up, and we were dancing and doing whatever, but mostly what we were doing was talking shit, because that's what we do best.
Right.
So if you know what Burning Man is at all, it's half naked women. It's crazy people. Our friend Ms. Punani was there, and she's insane. And there's just a lot of insane people. So I think we were just chain smoking cigarettes, and we were. It started to rain a little bit, and we were chain smoking cigarettes. You and I, we were sitting on a bench, and totally blitzed out of her mind, rolling, just having a great time. And this girl comes around, and she's got this big bowl, and she's dancing with this bowl, and she's picking up this dust, and she's sprinkling it on everywhere around the dance floor, but like also like on us as well. And it's like kind of getting on our shirts, and it's getting on our sleeves, and it's kind of getting in our mouths and our eyes. And I was like, and I kind of at first was like, these fucking party people, these Burning Man people, this is probably some sort of, this is probably some sort of mushroom, like psychedelic mushroom dust.
Totally,
like,
with glitter in it.
With glitter and going, it's very glittery.
Are you serious? There was glitter in it?
No, we're just...
Okay.
And I looked over, I was like, Mandy, I would go, what is that? And like, we're rolling.
Yeah.
Rolling. And I looked over, I was like, Mandy, what is that? We go to the girl. I'll never forget, because she had like a rain jacket on, and she looked schleppy, and she looked shit. I was like, I don't know. What is this woman putting on us? She looks a little shitty too. And I was like, what is that? And she the music is like boom, 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 boom. So it's like loud techno, trance, bass. I don't know what the fuck. Can't tell the difference between any of it. That's what it was. And she's like, it was. I'm like, what? And she's like, it was just it. I'm like, what? She's like, it's Jim's dad.
What the fuck?
And I looked over at Mandy and I was like, it's Jim's dad? This fucking bitch. And I didn't know.
Wait.
Jim is Robert Downey Jr. It was Robert Downey Jr.'s dad. In
Okay.
that bowl. It wasn't a bowl, it was an urn.
Right.
Bowls.
Did Jim know his dad was being sprinkled about?
I don't know. I think yes. I'm not sure. The man had died. He passed away. And this woman who, she said it's Jim's dad, so I don't even think that she knew what Jim's dad's name was.
Jesus Christ.
Had taken it upon herself, and it was sparkly because it had bone and human flesh at it. So she had started to sprinkle it all over the dance floor on this foam. So it's also raining, so it's immediately becoming mud.
Oh, fuck.
And 150 people on Molly and ecstasy who don't know her, by the way, don't know Jim's dad at all.
You
Just
do now,
know
intimately.
But when she said it to us, we kind of gotten into my mouth and Mandy's mouth and our eyeballs, and I just remember us going like,
oh no.
And our fucking drinks.
and
And our fucking souls were suddenly...
And then I was like, Mandy was like, fuck this shit, fuck these people, fuck this.
Well,
and
yeah.
I just remember watching her, and she went into this dance floor on this dock on the Pacific Ocean in Northern California and proceeded to spray this poor man's ashes all over this dock.
Drugs are bad.
Andrea, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we, because she told us what she was doing, didn't we go around after her and tell people, like, dude, you gotta get this off you, it's human remains?
I think so. We told people.
But I think everybody was just fucked up and they're like, whatever.
Listen, if I was real fucked up and I was having a real good time, I don't know if I'd care. I'd care the next day.
I will tell you this, I don't think there was a lot of people that knew it, because one of the reasons you and I went out there was Jay Flea was DJ. And I think years later, not years and years, but like when I was living up in Napa, I went and got my hair done at his salon, and I told him, and he was DJing, and I told him, lay it out, he goes, he'd never heard of it.
Shut up.
He goes, and he was one of the main DJs. I was like, did you know that girl was putting Robert Downey Jr.'s dad's ashes all over that?
This is going to be a problem.
He goes, I had no idea. I was like, she had that, like, she had that shit. You know, have you ever, like, I will tell you what it was like. It was like, if you, have you ever opened up your vacuum cleaner and then pulled out the bag, and as you pull it down, the dust flies everywhere?
Yes.
Imagine that.
That is exactly what it's like.
That there was human ash. And I was like, I whole thing out because I think at one point I was following her because I was like, whatever happens, because I was fucked up on drugs. So, but in my mind, although I was watching, I was like, I remember thinking, I don't know if I actually did this. I was very, very, very high, but I remember like watching like she can't dump them all out. She can't, because like this is like somebody's dad, and even if he said yes to it, like.
Yeah, I remember there being part of like
I thought, there's no way that if you're like Jim, first of all, Robert Downey Jr. is a successful businessman, right? But has these fun parties and is like a fun guy. I was like, there's no way that like at the end of the day you'd want this. But it was so crazy, and I was like, I can't believe, and it was like in our eyes and in our mouth, and I kept thinking about how I just ingested another human being.
Yep, exactly.
Oh my god!
It was so like that episode, like it's like that episode, like it's like that movie, Big Lebowski. You know,
exactly.
Totally.
It was so gross.
I think he did know about it because I feel like I remember that was part of the deal was like, oh, he wanted his dad to experience this one last party or something. Like I feel like his dad had just died.
Okay.
Yeah, he did just die, and he did know about it. But I was like, I can't imagine that you don't want to be doing this yourself. I don't know. The whole thing was, but the thing is, I think it's great to like if you want to like have a party and then spread the ashes of her, because he invited me to the party. I think it's great. Before you sprinkle them on me, on my body, you know.
Right.
I need to know. I mean, but really insane, but like insanity. But then also, like at the end of the day, I think also the next morning I was like, oh right, that happened. I mean, these people are like
I'm a cannibal.
That's the next one.
I mean, it tastes like chicken, right?
Oh my god, Andrea, I feel like we could just. I can't believe we've already been talking for 43 minutes, and I feel like we could just keep going on and on.
I have lots of stories.
So many fucking stories. Probably spinning right off from this one.
Well, I would say that how we met Robert Downey Jr. is always such a great story.
I would also like to just clarify, we do not know Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. is alive, and so is his father, the actual Robert Downey Jr. Just so there's no question.
Just in case you're coming in the middle of the podcast and you didn't hear how we explained that all in great detail at the beginning.
Right. Just saying. So if you're like, oh my God, Robert Downey, Mr. Downey, not Jr., Mr. Downey has passed away. No, he is still alive.
All right, so I should say RDJ. The man just looks exactly like Robert Downey Jr., so that's why I don't say that. He actually...
Savings lawsuits.
I think he hates it, actually. I think he hates being called that.
Yeah, he does hate it. He absolutely hates it. But he looks just like Robert Downey Jr.
I need pictures. I need fucking pictures.
I say this, like, if I said, like, it could be worse. I could say you look like Gary Busey.
All right, I'm going to say this, Andrea. I'm going to say let's save the how we met Jim, a.k.a. Robert Downey Jr. Let's save that episode, or let's save that story for another episode, and then maybe we can get our little audio internet situation figured out so we can have really crisp and clear audio for that one.
Sure thing.
And let's wrap this one up by, I don't know.
I'll wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up.
And this is like, listen, kids, they say don't do drugs. I say do drugs. I say do them. But if you're going to do drugs, do the good drugs. But don't do the shitty, don't do the heroin, don't do the opiates, but do drugs.
Don't do the drugs that'll kill you.
If you have not done Molly in your life, you have not lived. And you should definitely do Molly. You should get
Open
on
up the doors of perception, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually we end our podcast with a little way we can make the world a better place, some way that we can be excellent to each other. And I think that's really it. I think you nailed it. Do the good drugs.
Every time I've done Molly, terrible things and amazing things have both happened to me. I'm
right.
doing it. So
agreed.
you
I like
it. If you don't have stories, what do you have? Yeah, I got mine.
Well, it turns out we have a fuck ton of stories, which we're going to tell all of you all. So keep tuning in. Thanks so much for listening to our little podcast we got going on. If you haven't already, please head over to Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review and a rating. Check out our website. We've got merch.
I like making necklaces, and I bought a cricket.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun with that.
You're welcome, face masks.
If you have any stories about, crazy shit that's happened to you, or maybe somebody sprinkled human remains into your eyeballs,
or drink.
Send us an email at fhebadmormons@gmail.com. We're on all the social
Andy,
medias. Oh, yes?
Just one last thing.
Yeah.
What if, and now this is just a hypothetical.
Okay.
What if it was Jim's dead ashes that actually is the cure to COVID, and that you and I are completely immune? Could it be?
Check out our YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share.
If you want Clarice to not go hungry tonight, subscribe to our Patreon.
We've got a lot of fun shit for you on Patreon. A lot of exclusive behind-the-scenes content that's only for patrons. And, of course, we're on all the social media channels. So check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Spotify, fill in the blank.
What's the new one? Pinterest. Did I already say that?
No, you did not.
Oh. Yeah, we're branching out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I know. It was dumb. LinkedIn's dumb too, but I'm doing it anyway. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. And if you're having fun listening to our stories, please tell your friends. We love listeners and we love hearing messages from you guys.
5-star reviews are my fucking favorite,